New to Medical Device Sales Meetup in Tampa, Florida, September 7th. Come join us where you're going to be networking with other individuals looking to break into medical device sales, with reps that are already in medical device sales that have had success in medical device sales. And it's just a time for community. We have our current and past people from New to Medical Device Sales. They get to meet each other in person. We go over different things we're seeing in the industry, and it's a time for you all to network and meet other like-minded individuals. And this is our time where we make it family-like, like you're gonna see from past events that we've done. So come, mark your calendars, come learn more about medical device sales, how to stand out, how to break into an amazing industry, and how to be a top performer in medical device sales. If you have any questions, click the link below to find out more information. And I can't wait to see you in Tampa, Florida on September 7th. Welcome back to New to Medical Device Sales. I am your host, Jacob McLaughlin, and today we are bringing you a guest who at 24 years old was able to come into medical device sales with no previous experience, break in with one of the largest companies in the world at over 6 figures, which, just so you all know, everyone keeps saying it's impossible, but yet every week we just keep showing you people who did the exact thing, which is doing the impossible. So today we get the special guest of Keelyn, who is 24 years old, who was able to break into medical device sales starting at 6 figures and into one of the hardest industries. So Keelyn, welcome to today's show.
Hi, Jacob. Thank you. Hi, everyone.
It is so much fun to be on this side with you than the other side. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like a breath of fresh air. Absolutely.
It's funny. We were just talking a little bit off air, you guys, is just going through Keelyn's journey, and why we're going to talk about this is just the opportunity she had, but also just her journey, right? It was a little maybe different than everybody else's. That's like, hey, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks that we get. It was a longer journey. But in here, you guys are going to learn why. But then what we always say is sometimes it takes a little longer to get where you want to go. And so we're going to be able to talk to that. But before we dive too far into it, Keelyn, can you kind of just give a little background of who you are, a little bit of like where you're from, where you went to school, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am from the Sunshine State, Florida. I grew up in a small rural town. I didn't play like any sports growing up. I did some dance. At 14, I got my first job bagging groceries. I always knew that I wanted to go to college. No one in my family had went to college, so that was always a big life goal of mine. And I wanted to do something in healthcare. After I graduated high school, I got a job working in a hospital in the emergency room. So that gave me a great foundation of like the healthcare side of everything. I went to college. I moved to Tampa, went to USF. I was pre-med there. I knew I wanted to go to like MD or PA school. I worked 2 jobs because I was supporting myself. I worked in the hospital, and I also was in the service industry. Just had to get some fast cash. I did that, and then I graduated. I took a gap year just to kind of clear my head, figure out what I wanted, and I realized that my long-term goals had changed, and I didn't really want to go back to school. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? I was questioning everything, and I'm like, what do I do? I have this great degree, but the only thing you can really do with a biomedical science degree is go to med school, or you can like work in a lab. And I really didn't want to do that. I really enjoyed working with people. I was bartending at the time. Yep. And I really loved that I was in charge of making my own money. Like the harder I would work, the more money I would make. So I'm like, what do I do that aligns with that? So I found out about medical device sales. Didn't really know how I would get there because I didn't have like B2B sales. So I did a ton of research. I actually at that time had switched. I was working for a healthcare staffing company, did that for about a year, which was great introduction into like the business side of everything, but it wasn't fulfilling me. So I did more research about a year into doing that and stumbled upon your podcast. And I remember going onto your website and I was like, this is such a scam. So I was like listening to all of your podcasts, and it was actually this one, I recognized the name, and I had studied with her in college, and she was able to break in, and I was like, what happened? So I reached out to her. I was like, how did you break into this industry? And she went through your course. So she gave me like everything, like all the details. And so after talking to her, I was like, okay, let me talk to this guy. So we talked, and then I got into the course, and then I think it's 5 months it took me, 5 or 6. And yeah, here we are.
I love it. So couple things on that. Number one, first off, what I want you guys to hear is Keelyn's always just been a hustler, right? And one thing I want to kind of touch on is we get a lot of people, we've had past podcasts of people who, same exact background, right? They were going pre-med. It's what they thought they wanted to do. But then we hear so many times, hey, I don't want to go into the 8 to 12 plus years of schooling. I don't want to take off the $250 to $1 million in debt. It's not what I'm passionate about. And I actually just become a high paid employee because now I have to work because now I have all the debt. And you guys then actually go and do your research and talk to these doctors. And a lot of them tell you, I want to do it, but don't do it if you don't have to, right? And so we see a lot of people in that exact same moment. We get actually a lot of people who drop out of med school as well, who come into the program and course because they're like, it's just not it, right? I still had 3 years to go. Plus then I had another 4 years of residency that we would have to go through too, right? And so you could see it. So I absolutely love that. But what I do want to just touch on is I absolutely love, we always say this, if somebody's coming onto our website and they're, especially over the age of 30, they're always like, it's a scam. There can't be anything. And then I always make the joke. I'm like, when's the last time you bought something like so much, took a video, sent it to that person, told them how much you liked it? You go see all the hundreds of testimonials we have. And then why we do these podcasts, right? Then you could just go listen to the podcast. You can see the results. You can go fact check it and see where they're at. But the thing that I think that's hilarious is I'll never forget. And I just say like, this is a God moment. And like where things come in is not only did you want to join the course, your best friend and roommate, Amanda, wanted to join the exact same course. And you two talked to two separate human beings who both brought you back to our course. And then you guys actually got in within 2 days of each other to go.
Yeah, it was a very unique situation. I don't necessarily recommend it, but it was cool because we were both kind of going through it together. And it's like you say, like you're going through the trenches. And, you know, I think what's really awesome about this course is like the support throughout the whole thing. And it's really important to trust the process. Like you're going to have some really low lows, and just keep on chugging along, keep the process, and it will work out and you will get there.
And it pays off. And to your point, like we just say, you guys, like we always talk about our average person's hired in 8 weeks. And people will be like, well, Jacob, she just said 5 months, right? What about that? Well, that's 20 weeks, right? For every 20 weeks, we have a 2-weeker, Joe Dobbs. We have, Delaney, we just had break in 3 weeks at 125, right? Like you guys will see this. And so I always just say it's an average. But what I want you also to see, it took 5 months, but now she's way over 6 figures. So it's like, are you willing to save another 2 months to make an extra 60, 70K?
Exactly. So that's something that I had to learn. So in the beginning, I was very like, I'm going to break in 4 to 6 weeks. I'm going to do this. I was like, every week I was going through, what I had done. I would label it week 1, week 2, week 3. And as I got to like week 4, 5, and 6, and I wasn't in any interviews, I started freaking out. But kind of like ultimately I realized I was comparing myself to others, and I just had to really drill down and figure out like who I was, what makes me unique, and stop comparing myself to other people's, because everyone has a different story. And what's going to get you through, what's going to make it to the end is your story. So that's something that I had to learn. And we always talk about like this maturing process. Like I came into this a completely different person than I am now. I grew so much, and I honestly wouldn't change anything.
Yeah. And what I just want you guys to hear from that is it is the maturing process. Nobody understands what we do it because we also get like, for example, we just got Luis. He's been in our program. He just came in at over 170K as a full line rep, which he will be on the podcast here in the future. So you guys can see that. Again, in 6 figures, full line rep, no experience before this, but people will be like, oh, it's impossible. You can't do it. But it's like, we talk about, it's the maturing process, and people will be like, well, Jacob, he's older than you. And I'm not saying age isn't a thing, but like what you guys have to understand is like when Keelyn first came to us and she's not making even 70, 80K with what her current job is, there's a certain mindset to shift from you're not making 100K to let's actually get you in processes that you could make hundreds of thousands of dollars in your first gig. And then what that actually takes to get you there, because when you're going to that point of like, I'm now interviewing for jobs over 6 figures, we talk about this in the course all the time. You have to be seen as a peer. It's got to be peer to peer. The moment you're over here, associates. And then a lot of you guys don't know what you're doing. You've been trying for 5, 6, 7, 8 months, have no other offers. And then you're like, hey, I'm coming in at 50K. Like, just so you guys know, we just had a post on LinkedIn go viral. It had over 60,000+ views. It's probably at 75 now. You can come in at over 6 figures. Keelyn's a perfect example of it.
And then I have all these ortho managers and reps all being like, that's impossible. It's fake. This is harmful to people. It's not going to get people hired. They're going to miss out jobs because you said this. And let me just make this really clear. My favorite was we had a couple of vice presidents of massive med device companies say that. You know why they said that? I said on there, you don't have to come in at 50, 60K and then work all these hours. Guess who's offering jobs at 50 to 60K and then making you work 60 plus hours? Those guys. And then they have to protect their company so they can do it. But all we're showing you is, guess what? Keelyn's with a great med device company, one of the largest in the world. She's not going to work the 60 plus hours, and she's going to make over six figures. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, you'll see balloons because I can't figure out the stinking emojis. But the reason I just say that is you don't have to come in at 50, 60K. The people who are, I'll just make this really clear. You guys don't know what else is out there. You're not in any other interview processes and you haven't showed value. You guys have come in and said, what do I do here? What's your day like? Can you tell me more about what you do? That's not showing that you actually did your research. You're coming in and asking questions. And most of you are doing that to the regional manager. You want to know, I just met with a CEO in San Diego, which we're going to do a whole podcast on first year in about that. But just so you guys know, you want to know what the number one thing that guy says? People talk all the time and they don't show any action. You want to know why Keelyn just got in at over six figures? Action. The talk, cheap. We don't talk about it. We just do it, right? But then here's the problem. You guys are like, yeah, I'm going to go do it too. But you don't know what you're doing. So then when you don't know what you're doing and you're trying to do it, welcome to insanity. Definition is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right? The reason I say that, Keelyn went through a stage of this, and then we were able to have a really great conversation around week 8 or 9, where it was the maturity. And I wanted to bring this up with you, Keelyn, because I remember walking for an hour with my dog, hour and a half, and you and I talked through what you had been doing, the messages you had been sending, and what did we find out through that talk?
So I was at a point where I was having so many phone calls, and they were good phone calls. Like they were, I was learning a lot. It seemed like the recipient was enjoying the call, but they weren't getting anywhere. Like I was probably at that point, I had talked to maybe like 60 to 70 reps, but I had no interviews. And it was like, what's the problem here? So I was at a really low point and I talked to you and I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. And you literally stopped me. You were like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're not structuring these phone calls right. So what I was doing, I was getting on these phone calls and I would just be like, hey, I'm really interested in breaking in. Would love to hear about your journey, and that's it. And I would let them take the lead and talk about their journey. And you stopped me and you were like, no, you need to take control of the conversation. You need to say, hey, listen, like this is my background. This is where I'm at. And I was like making it hard for them to help me because I wasn't telling them anything about myself. I was making them like ask me questions.
Pull it out.
And it was like literally night and day. We had this conversation. The next day I had my next phone call with someone, and it was like immediate difference.
Yeah.
And I remember texting you and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like it's great.
It was literally the best because what I tell people is like, that's what it was, is what people think is like, again, I say it all the time. I tell you guys to network. And then you guys are all text me, call me, I am networking. I am doing the right, and not you, Keelyn, like the people not in the course, right? And people will be like, oh, I am networking. And this is my whole thing is, yeah, you guys might be networking, but you might not be doing it right. Right. And then nobody's like, well, no, that can't be because I did what you said. Right. Let me just make it clear. I say this to our team all the time. If you guys haven't, you're going to see, we just were out in San Diego doing training with our team. You can see like Boris and and Skylar and other our team members that you'll be on there. But I say this all the time in sales, in life, whatever it is, you can play notes, but that don't mean you're making music. You can be doing everything, but you do it in the wrong order and it screws it all up. What is sales? It's doing it all in the right order so it makes the music. It makes people come in and be like, oh my gosh. And so the reason I'm just telling you that is that's what we got to talk about, because what we talked about also on your call is you would get through 15, 20, 30 minutes and then you would tell them what you did. And then now they're trying to help you, but they've already given you 20, 30 minutes and they got to get off the call. Compared to if you brought that at the beginning, this is who I am. This is what I've done. This is what my experience is. Bam. Now the first 20 minutes, they're going to start helping you. Bam. And then you get to talk to it and they think you're a smart cookie because you are a smart cookie instead of the first 20 minutes prior. They're like, this girl is making me work, and all I want to do is just help her. If she just came prepared, we'd be good. And then, yeah, I remember being downstairs in the gym. You texted me and you're like, night and day difference. It worked. And I actually got set up with a regional manager because of it. And I'm like, crazy, right?
Yeah, and it was like a snowball effect too. Like that turned into one interview. And then I got to the point where I had mastered that part of the conversation and my story so well. I would be talking to like regional managers or territory managers, and they would be like, I would finish and they would be like, okay, let's get you to the next step. Like they wouldn't even want to like talk anymore because I'd already shown them how much experience I had and how confident I was in my abilities and my skills. But yeah, literally night and day. And that's something that I think is really unique about the course is having that like one-on-one with you where you were able to see like what was going wrong. And just that one conversation changed everything.
Yeah. And what I want you guys to see is like, just so you know, it's why we do our mentorship. And I really don't broadcast that out. I talk about the course, but it's what we do is mentor you guys and we're in the trenches with you. That's how we get such fast results because everyone thinks it's like, oh, we have a program and then just people come in and then it's like, oh, good luck. No, it's like we're in there with you. It's why we're very selective. We do stuff. You guys are going to go look at it and you'll be like, what the heck? And just so you guys know, look at the price. And she just 15, 16 extra turned it because she broke in at way above it. But the reason I say that, you guys will look at that, but then it's like, you guys don't know what you're doing. You're hitting your head against the wall. You don't know what to do compared to, I've done it thousands of times with thousands of people. I can do that. And by literally me, I don't even have to look at the messages. By me on a call for 45 minutes, I already figured out everything that was wrong and just told her how to change it. And then the next day she's in an interview. Now we go get hired at 6 figures. Why? I've done this thousands of times. And people can be like, well, I'm different, all this stuff. You guys can make excuses till the sun comes down. I don't care. But we just do what we do. That's the biggest part. But just so you guys know, this is why I'm so passionate about it. Guess who has a mentor? Me. Guess who also has mentors and coaches? LeBron James, the best athletes, the best coaches. Why? Because this is what the poor people and the people who don't know what they're doing is they think I'm going to save a buck to try to figure it out. And all you guys do is waste years or months. And then you come in, I tried for 6 months, 8 months. I came in at 50K. Great. Keelyn took 2 more months than you, over double what you make, already a higher position and knows exactly what to do to go crush it to next year, be above that another 50 to 100K. In 2 years, you still aren't going to even be at 6 figures, friends. So where's the real investment, right? That's what people don't understand. And that's what the rich do. And like I always just tell people, it's like, why do you think rich people have jets? They can make more money. You know what they can't get back? Time. That's what I always tell our people. And I'll say to you all so you guys can hear it when I get on calls with you. And I want you all to hear my heart is I come from putting groceries back. 6 years ago, I put it back. I had $1,200 to my name 6 years ago. I still have family members live off welfare. It's why I can tell you, I watch people live in the lowest 1% of America, and I can live in the top 1% because of med device sales in this industry that's taught us. But the difference between rich people and poor people is a poor person will never spend $1,000 because it's too much money. A rich person will happily spend $10,000 if they get the return on investment. Because why? And let me just make it really easy for you all. You want to know what poor people do? Think emotionally. It's too much money. What if I don't get it back? Oh, you know what a rich person does? Logical thinking. Yeah, 10 grand is a lot of money, but do I believe we'll get it back? Yep. Okay, bam. Okay, bam. That's the difference between you guys. And again, like I always tell you, whether you guys ever work with us or not, it's not going to hurt my feelings. It doesn't hurt our business. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just, we want to help you guys. And I just want to reframe your mindset because this is what I have done. It's what I got mentors for to teach us. And this is what we do with Keelyn of like, this is why I'm so dang proud to watch you, Keelyn, and why I'm so proud to have you on today is seeing the girl who came into my course to the woman I have right now in front of me, making 6 figures, moved across the country, is worth a top med device company, knowing what to do, and now you're hungry to go crush it. It's a new person, and it's what drives me and what people will never understand. It's never been about the money. It's never been about the thing. It's about the impact and knowing that you just changed your life, which guess what? You're going to go change a lot of freaking other people's lives, and that is what drives me and gets me riled up and gets me going after all these people saying, you got to come in at 50K, and I'm like, screw you. You don't have to. And let me just say this one more time for you all. You do, not us.
And you're investing in your future too.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but you set the standard for yourself.
Yep.
I was in a place where I wasn't happy with what I was doing, and I wanted, this is my career.
Yep.
And I'm investing in it, and it's worth every penny.
Can I ask you that? Because again, not to go too deep, but it's not like you were rolling in the dough when you joined the course, right? We talked about where you current, right? Yeah, you're like, holy crap, right?
Absolutely not.
What was the moment for you to be like, okay, I know this is a lot of money. This is literally like over 20% of the money I make all year, but I believe in the return on investment I'm going to get, or 15% or whatever it is, 10%. Like it was, well, it's over 10%, but it's like what you were like, this is a big chunk of change to me. But what was the moment for you to be like, I trust myself enough to invest in this, to be able to go to make it? Because someone's going to hear this that's on the fence right now. And why I get so passionate, guys, is you want to know why I do this and why I get on the calls. Every single day I get to sit with you guys, and I get to see if you want to decide to stay poor or not. If you want to stay stuck in your life and your ways or not. And because Keelyn made the jump and bet on herself, she doesn't have to be making under 50K a year anymore. She now makes over double that.
Yeah.
5 months later. So I just want you guys to know that, Keelyn. That's why I want just for you to expand on it, is because every single day, what I get on calls with is watching people who are struggling, barely making ends meet, hate their job, not passionate about what they're doing, feeling lost, not feeling like they're making an impact, to then so emotionally thinking, AKA poor person mindset, to why they will never make 100 grand in their life, is because they keep in that mindset, poor person thinking emotionally, to never be like, what if it goes right? And I see thousands of people got the same results, other people got it, and I believe in myself to invest in it, to I know I'm going to get it. What was that moment for you?
Well, for me, I mean, I was lucky that I was able to get on a phone call with someone who had gone through the course. And I mean, she told me every reason why it helped her. And at the end, I was like, okay, so is it worth it? And she was like, honestly, it's a lot of money, but it is worth it, because you need the support. Like you kind of need it's like you're kind of holding the hand and you kind of need that guidance. You could do it without, but it's not going to be the same. Like kind of like what you said, like you could do it on your own and end up getting a less paying job, an associate role, which isn't bad, but it's like, what do you want? What's the expectation for yourself? And I did not want, a lower paying job than what I already had. So that made all the difference.
Yeah. And I appreciate you saying that. And what I want you guys to also hear is like, you guys can do it on your own, but most of you won't get on calls with 70 reps.
Exactly.
There's a big difference here, right? Keelyn did it, but let me just make this clear. If I don't have that call with Keelyn after 70 reps, guess what? She's not getting that job.
Another thing too is like, I was getting on calls with, 70 plus people. What is your competition doing? Like if you weren't in the course, you wouldn't know what you're going up against. And at least these people in the courses, that's what they're doing. So that's what you're going up against. At least that's what I would tell myself.
Yep.
So I had to check off every single box, to the point where, I was in my interviews, I would print out my Excel spreadsheet and I would show them, this is how many people, I've already talked to everyone in the division. What other candidate that you're talking to has done this? And it's like having leverage.
Bam. And then what I want you guys to know, Keelyn talked to everyone in the division, because all you guys will be like, well, great, there's my secret sauce, I'm going to go do it. Now, guess what? You don't know how to have a conversation to have yourself stand up. You don't know how to use that information to leverage it. You don't know how to use that information to make yourself be the top candidate. And then what you guys all do is, I've never done this before. I've never figured it out, but I'm going to be the one human being who does, and watch me go beat out. Because this is what I tell everybody, just so you guys can never know if you ever get on a call with me. When you guys get on a call with me and you tell me you're all the stuff, and then you make the excuse of why you can't work with us or why you don't want to do it, I always tell you guys, it don't change my life. It just changes yours. You joining my program, I got 6 more calls after you. But you going from making 40K to you making 120K, that changes your freaking life forever. It don't change my life at all, right? So the reason I just make this really clear for you all is because here's my whole conversation. Every person I get on a call with, I'm like, what do I do if I get you an interview? What do you do if I get you an interview for interview 3 right now? Because I can do that, pull that out of my pocket right now. What happens if I get you interview 3? What do you do? I don't know. I'm going to call some more people and try to figure it out. Guess what? You're calling Johnny and Sarah and they're rep 53 and 57, and they don't even know how they got hired because they haven't hired anybody. I get people hired every single day. So this is what then I always ask them. So you don't do my course. What happens? Well, I'm just going to go figure it out. Great. You already told me for 4 months you haven't been able to figure it out. So what? You're going to go and call more people, which you already told me hasn't led to interviews. You're going to go get in more interviews and then lose them because you don't know what you're doing. Okay, great, good. Now, guess what? You go up against Keelyn. I'm coaching her. She's doing what I've done. I've only been a top 10 performer, and our team's only been top 10 performers. We have coaches interviewing for $300,000+ right now, which everyone in the industry says is fake. We do this on a daily basis, and I get thousands of people hired in med device sales. Who's going to win? Let's play bigger. You get hired today. Who wins? You or Keelyn? Keelyn has a year access with us, and we keep coaching her once she's in the industry so she knows exactly and she can call me. You never figured out, and you're going to go talk to Johnny. Hopefully Johnny's crushed it. Hopefully Johnny's been a top 10 performer every year. Hopefully Johnny's meeting with CEOs, because I just did last week. Like, I'm just real with you guys, because you guys will all, I watch people message me and you'll be like, I listened to your first podcast and I think you're arrogant. I watch your stuff and bam. And I'm like, at the end of the day, you guys will either watch us and just say, wow, this guy says the truth and he's actually making me think and it's going to change my life. Or I'm going to say he's an arrogant douche or he's a prick or whatever it is. And then you guys are going to call me back 6 months later and you guys are going to have an interview. You're not going to take our advice, or you're going to be like, Jacob, I did it. Just had 2 people. Hey, after 8 months, finally broke in at $44,000. Great. Let me just make this clear. I've never had a human being in our program take a deal for $44,000. Why? You can't live off that. Even at 22 years old, living with roommates, you can barely pay your bills once you do taxes. So I just want you guys to really know why I get so passionate about it and why Keelyn, like when she invests in her future, that's why I get so passionate about it, because you guys get to watch me and I get to coach these people and watch these people change their freaking lives and mature into human beings. Because now what can I tell Keelyn going to do? Go change a lot of human lives and make the best patient outcome. And guess what that's going to result in? Cha-ching. Why? Because it's value. Make more money. That's life, right? So I just tell this to anybody listening to it because I really want you guys to know. So I apologize, Keelyn, but going back to the real reason of like, hey, what was the moment for you to be like, hey, I don't want to be broke anymore. I don't want to stay in my insanity. What was that for you?
I just got to a point in my current job where I just was really not happy. I was waking up every day doing the same thing over and over again. And it got to a point where I was just like, I don't want to get up out of bed. Like, I don't want to do this. And that's when I was like, okay, like I need to do some, like, what are my goals? What is my why? And it definitely like drew me to medical device sales, doing something every day, like even on the bad days, just remembering that every day you're selling products that save someone's life. Like, that was kind of the changing moment for me. And I was just extremely unhappy. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this course, because I knew that if I tried to do it without the course, it would take me a really long time, because I didn't have B2B sales experience. I didn't have exactly what they were looking for. So I just needed that extra guidance. And I mean, it is an investment, but you're investing in your future. And what do you want that to look like? It's up to you.
I love it. And I always just tell people, you guys are crazy if you don't think I'm not going to get you 100x return on investment for, let's just be real. To make 100,000, 150, 200K in med device sales. And let's just say you guys are telling me you want to make a career. Let's go low, right? Let's just say you only made 100 grand and you did it for 10 years, which if you did 100 grand for 10 years, you are not good in med device sales. Let me just make that really clear. Keelyn's already beating that. But let me just say, if you did that for 10 years, you over by a lot, 100x in your investment. But that's where, again, going back to rich people mindset and poor people mindset. Small thinking is like, oh, I pay this money, I burn it, and I don't see it. And then even smaller mindset is, I pay it, but it's only this year. I've happily paid thousands of dollars to be in a course to be like, if I learn one thing for the rest of my life, that will be worth whatever I invest in it. Because if I can take that and use it in the future for the next 5, 10 years, it's going to return its investment 30x, 50x. But most people, again, poor person thinking, poor mindset is this week, this month, even this year, compared to you are able to separate it. And you're like, I'm going to invest myself. And it's already returned its investment. But now, hey, watch what's to come over the next several years for you, right? So I just love that and going to that point. Now, what I really want to dive in for you is, what did you really learn through this process? Maybe about yourself. What did you learn about this process, about going through med device sales, what the interview process was like? Because we talked about it. You could have had 2 offers. We pulled you out of one because you already had the highest paid offer and it felt right. Like, I want you to touch on that. But what was it kind of like going through this process for you?
Oh, I mean, gosh, what didn't I learn? I would say overall, the biggest thing was like learning myself and like finding who I am. Like I said, I think before, I was comparing myself to others who had either broken in or other people in the course who had these like crazy sports backgrounds or these crazy injuries. And I was trying to like form my story to sound like them, but I wasn't being myself. So I really had to drill down and find out what made me unique. And that was a process. Like I had to dive deep to get there. But you could tell that I was struggling with like confidence issues. So once I kind of figured out who is Keelyn, what makes me unique, what have I been through, and I figured it out. It was again like another night and day moment, and I just stayed true to my story. And like I said before, I had it all laid out. I knew exactly what I was going to say, to the point where when I was on these calls, they were like, "I don't need to know anymore. Like, you're awesome." So that was like a huge takeaway from the course. And that's not something that you can just like pay for it to get. Like, I don't know. It was just a huge, I'm trying to think of like the word. It's just a complete change in mindset. So that was a huge takeaway for me. Also, I wanted to highlight Roxy.
Rock star.
Yes, she was absolutely amazing. We would talk after hours. I know she's like probably not supposed to do that, but her mentorship, like, she's outstanding. She's an amazing rep. So I would always look up to her, and she would do these calls with everyone, mock interviews. And God, she would have some of the hardest questions, but it would prepare you for the real deal. It would make the interviews, not as hard. Yeah.
Well, first off, Roxy's the best. She is the best. So I just want you all to know that. She's just a killer. So love her. And that's why we have her a part of the team, just because we want you guys to be with people that are top performers and in it. But number two, it's why we say sweat during practice so you don't bleed during war. Everyone's like, how do you get people hired an average of 8 weeks at over 100 or almost 100K, right? 94K, whatever it is. The reason I'm just saying that is because we ain't guessing. I get people hired literally every day. We ain't guessing. We know what this is. For you guys, it's the first time. For us, it's like, play it back. Let's get them going. But this is what people miss. I can play it back, but every single human being's different. And we have to go check on different things. Because one of the conversations we had was about that confidence. We knew you already had some, but we had to go to a whole nother level, right? And what people needed to know is, like, you're not just a pretty face who can go do it. We need to know that you ain't getting yelled at and you ain't gonna cry. That you're going to take control of a room and that you're going to show them where it is. And then look what you did. And you knew exactly who Keelyn was on every call. And that's what people miss. And just so you guys know, this is why I get so proud, because I have mentors. I'm in rooms with people who now changed my life. Like I said, I get to meet now with CEOs of med device companies, right? It's life-changing for me, but it's life-changing for you guys, right? Because why? I've invested thousands and thousands of dollars in myself. And I'm in rooms with mentors and entrepreneurs that are now making hundreds of millions of dollars. What do you think I bring back to the program? Everyone that leaves my program, and this, I would want you all to think about it. You want to know why you won't go to another program and see hundreds of video testimonials? Because maybe they didn't get the return on investment they wanted. Maybe it really didn't change the life that they were looking for. You want to know why we time and time again have people happy to get on a podcast with us, happy to do videos with us? Because my course and my program and what we do is not about just breaking you into med device sales. That's why I have a mission statement. My goal is to help you all help driven individuals break into medical device sales to positively impact others. I can break you all in. If you go all in and you suck, that don't help me. If you guys go in and you give horrible service to the patient on the table, what did I do? I just made it worse. We're here to make you guys the most committed so you can do really great things. Because once you do that, let me just tell you how it plays out, my friends. You go do it and give great service to the patient on the table. That's the most important. That's going to change someone's life, because that might be your mom, your dad, your aunt, your brother, your sister. That's why it's the most important, and that's why they're here. Number two, off of that, is if you do a great job and do that and provide great service, guess what? You're probably going to hit your number and hit quota. You do that, you're going to make a lot of money. You make a lot of money, you get to bless yourself and change your life and your family's life. And then you do that, guess what happens? You've already made your money and blessed your family and changed your own family life. Then you get to go help others. Why we work with nonprofits. It's why we do scholarships. It's why we give back. because that's what this is all about, giving back and helping people. But you guys are out of your dang mind. That's why I'm so proud of what I do and why you so me get so passionate. My course isn't breaking you into med device sales. My course is changing your freaking life so you can actually understand what it's like to get commission checks for $50,000+. So you can go use that money, not only for you to go have fun and live the nicer life because you know you're good enough, but to also take that and go bless other people. And that's what everybody will never understand. All of our competitors, guess what they do? What I do 2 to 3 months later. Great, we know it. We're calling you out. Hello, if you hear us, you see it. I see it every single day. Nobody does video testimonials. Jacob did it 3 months later. Let's try to get video testimonials. Watch this. Nobody has a mission statement. Watch what's about to happen, my friends. It's the funniest thing, but let me see. You ain't us. You don't care. It's not about the money for us. It's about the passion. What do we do? Why do we charge what we charge? It's strictly ROI. Because when I get Keelyn hired at 24 years old with no experience ever in the industry, and everyone's telling her she can't break in at 50 or 60K, and that's the only way she can, but we get her hired at over 100K, first job, and she knows what to do, that's why we can charge what we charge. It's just straight value. Going back to you guys joining my program, it won't change. It's not changing my life because, again, we have people like Keelyn who are like, I am ready to change my life. I don't need everybody. We just need the people who are ready to change their life so I can change their life. I can't help you. Say it to my own family. Lead the horse to water, can't make them drink it. I can give you guys the information today and know what you can never do? It. Why? Because I was the same kid that you guys are all making 50K a year. And I said, if someone just gave me the opportunity to make 100 grand, I would be rich and I would do it. And guess what? You ain't ready. You don't even have the mindset. I could literally come and give you 100 grand today cash. Know what you all do? Blow it, lose it. Don't know what to do with it. Don't know how to invest with it. Don't know anything to do. But our people, when we come in and they leave our course, know what they knew? They know how to make $100,000+. They know how to go get commission checks. They know how to take that money and then go invest it and do stuff to change their freaking life and their family's life and everybody else's life. And you can see, it's why I get so passionate. It's why I get fired up because Keelyn, it's why when you come into my course and you're making under 50 grand and I get to sit here 5 months later with you making over $100,000 in a new state with a big old smile on your face, when the first time I called you, you looked like you were scared.
Yeah.
That's what nobody will ever understand. It's when you text me, call me all pumped up because I have a new woman on the phone now making her dream job that everybody else told her it wasn't possible. And I'll just sit here and say it one more time for everybody in the back to hear why I get so dang passionate about what I do is every freaking day. I get to be the one person and my team gets to be the one people that gets to go to you guys, our team members and everyone in our course when they're all getting told, you can't do it. It won't happen. It's impossible. You have to start here. And every freaking day we just say, screw them. It is possible. Do it. And then you guys do it. It's not possible to make 6 figures right away. Why? Because I did it. You can't make 200 grand. I did it my first year. Why can't you? It goes back to what I teach you guys and instill in our people. No, you can't do it. That don't mean I can't do it. It's this thing we always say, eagles don't fly with pigeons. Don't put your doubt and what you're going through on me. And it's what we're putting in our program and it's what we're putting in our people. And it's why we have med device companies asking for our people. It's why I'm going out and meeting with CEOs. Why? Because we teach our people how to be different. And guess what? You want to be in med device sales for the next 20 years? You freaking do it, Keelyn. But guess what? I've also taught our people they can come in 5 years, 10 years, crush it, make the choice. Because I want to put this out there for everyone to hear. I am so damn sick of hearing reps that have been in the industry for 10 years who are like, it's not what it used to be. Oh my God, it's all that. Then get the heck out. Why can't you? Because you ain't making the money that you're all saying. You're all getting commission, getting taxed at 42%. You have a lifestyle that you let creep up and you haven't been smart with your money. And now you're forced to be yelled at by a scrub tech and you can't leave. Guess what? Our people don't have that. Because if they're doing it the right way, what we're teaching, after 5 to 10 years, guess what? They get to stay in it because they want to stay in it. Not because they have to. All right, Keelyn, I'm sorry. I get all passionate about this. This has nothing to do with you. We got triggers. These people get me going. All right, so bringing it back to you. You've learned so much about yourself. You learned what it is. What I want you to talk to is you got to do multiple different interview processes. What was the biggest difference in going to an interview process for 6 figures at 24 years old with no experience? What was that like compared to going through talking to people, going through interview processes that were under 100 grand? What's the big difference?
So honestly, there were 2 really big companies that I was in the interview process with, and I got to the final with the one that I ended up accepting. That was obviously more than the other one, and it just felt right. Like my now manager made it obvious that they wanted me and that they were going to get like a written offer on the table. There was some like HR delays, but I had an offer on the table right then and there, basically. And then with the other company, it was good. It was a great company. It was a great offer still. I would have been able to stay in Florida, but something about this other one just felt different. And I'm so happy that I chose. And I had to move across the country for this one too. I'm now living in Denver, so that's awesome. I'm so happy to be here.
I love it. And what I want you guys to hear is when it's right, it's right. You know what everyone tells me? Well, I only got one offer, 50K, 60K, 75K, whatever it is. I'm trying to get back to them. Bam, bam, bam. You know what's funny? When you do it the right way, you know what you're doing. You have people who are trying to offer you a job for 6 figures and they're chasing you. They're begging you not to take other offers. They're saying, please, hey, I know HR is taking a little bit of time, but please, we need you. Why? Because they actually show that they want you, just like a relationship. It shouldn't be one-sided, which you guys are all getting that are listening to this. Well, I'm chasing them, but they aren't giving me anything in back compared to you're in it. You guys are texting back. Hey, we're going through this. Hey, we want you. Hey, please just keep us updated. And it goes through it. So I just want people to know when it feels right. Like this is what we always talk about. That's why it's already fun for you. It felt right. You felt the love. You felt like, hey, this is going to be fit. And they showed you they wanted you there. They didn't just say, yeah, if you want to just take it. Just let us know by the end of the week. Or they didn't say, take it right now. It was, hey, we're making sure we're having a good conversation. So I want everyone to hear that. Now, just wrapping up because we're getting a little long on time because I don't stop ranting some days. But the reason I'm telling you that is, what's your advice? We're going to have people reach out to you. And you heard me say about the early call. Let me just sit here and tell you guys, we know that I call it out on all the podcasts and they still do it. So I just want you all to know, we know that you guys listen to the podcast. You're like, I don't want to spend $1 because I don't, whatever. After you're going to go talk to people who did invest in themselves and spent the money and see the difference. And now you're going to be like, hey, I heard it's great, but I don't want to spend $1. So give me all your free stuff. And then what your advice is, even though she's telling you literally on the podcast, going back to it's not the information. It's just you guys don't do it and then you don't utilize it. So all that good stuff. I don't want creep shows hitting up in LinkedIn DMs. If you do that, stop it, you weirdos. So the reason and it does happen. Like I've had people slide in and be like, let's get coffee. I'm like, no, I have a girlfriend. But the reason I'm just saying that for you guys is, when you are going through this process, Keelyn, like what's your advice, whether you have sales experience or no sales experience, because you didn't have the typical what they're looking for. What's your advice to anybody looking to break into medical device sales?
Yeah, so a few things. Be authentic, be yourself. If you don't have, either B2B or healthcare experience, find out what experiences you've had that translate over, like really that I had to do that. And more than likely you have tons of skills and things that you've done that can translate over. So figure that out, be true to yourself, be authentic, be you, be consistent, and trust the process.
Love it. And those are just great things. Listen to that 10 more times, my friends, because I'll just sit here and say, you all say it's so hard, it's so difficult. It's really not hard. You just don't know what you're doing. Right?
It's hard in the moment, but once you're outside, it's like, wow, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was.
Yeah, right. And this is what I always tell people. My favorite thing is people will like look at our program. They'll be like, Jacob, you have these modules, but I don't need this and this. I just need this one. I'm like, great. You don't know what you need, because if you needed that, you would have fixed it and you already been hired. Right. The reason I'm just saying that, why you're laughing and saying that, is when you first get in, you don't know what it is. So it is tough. It is hard. But then once we teach you and you're like that, and then you mature enough to where it clicks and then it makes sense. Now you can sit on the way out and we get to send you a t-shirt and you're broke in and now you're living in Denver making 6 figures and life is good, to the fact of, I get it. Going back to that maturity process. And guess what? Now you see the world a little bit different. And now you understand what it takes to actually go get a job for 6 figures. And then you're going to see them to progress compared to everybody else who doesn't do that. You guys are, again, going into sanity. You guys are just like little pigeons, like, again, not being rude, but like the pigeons where I say eagles don't fly with pigeons. You guys are all pecking your bird seed and you're like, oh, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. And then you guys keep hitting your head against the wall, keep doing the same thing. I reached out to 30 reps, 50 reps, 70 reps, 80 reps, 100 reps. I just had a guy the other day, been trying for 8 months, been in 5 interview processes, and tells me the only reason he's not winning is because no one will give him an interview. And I was like, you just told me you had multiple interview processes. So if that's the real reason, you'd be hired. Well, and then the next excuse comes in, and then the next excuse comes in. Let me just make this easy for you all, winners and losers. You can keep making excuses. You just won't get results. You can play the victim and say it's hard and people are mean to you and people don't want whatever you want. Sun's going up and the sun's going down either way, every day. You can either just actually go do the hard work, but let me just sit here and tell you why I talk the way I talk. Because if you're not, you want to be in listening this deep, this far, if you're not that kind of person and who you're like, I know I'm meant for more. I know I can do this. Like, guys, let me just make this clear. I'm the one person in my family that left. Everyone else is back home in small town Iowa who wants to stay where they're at, which is nothing wrong. Go live your life if that's what you want to be. But let me just say, I knew I was meant for more. I knew I was going to now have you guys call me, reach out to me, and do the same thing for you all. Because I'll just sit here and tell you why I get so passionate. Every day, I put my armor on to go get shots and get told why I'm stupid and get told why we suck and why the stuff I'm saying ain't real. So you all don't have to take it and you can just point to me and you can go get it. And then I didn't have anyone encourage me. I get to sit on here and when Keelyn gets somebody to be like a mean rep, I'm like, screw him. Screw him. Like, okay, Janie hates her life. Oh, that sucks. Go do something else. Like here, that's all you gotta do, right? Because whether you want it or not, it's gonna happen. But I want you guys to know, I'm talking to the person who wants to change their freaking life and who's sick of being stuck. Because I'm just sitting here telling you guys, Keelyn could still be making under 50K because it was too scary. She could still be not where she wants to be in life. And she could still be hitting her head against the wall, hoping she gets an interview. It's just your guys' choice. And again, let me just make sure it doesn't have to be with us. I know, like going back to personal training, I know we ain't for everybody. But what we just do, you see how I talk. I do care about you guys. I do love you guys. And I want you guys all to get there. But also, you know what love is? Not sugarcoating and just telling you the truth. Because let me just tell you guys, so you all can hear this. A friend will watch you mess up your life and say, but that's okay as long as you're happy. A true best friend will be like, what the heck are you doing, you idiot? Why? Because they care about you and they know that you need to hear it. And even though you may not want to hear it, but that's how you know they care about you. And I said this to our team today, and I want to end this with you all. Hey, as long as I'm still pushing you, know I care about you. I heard this from my basketball coach. I came from a supportive basketball team when I was in high school and went to college, and I'm getting scholarship. And guess what? I went from getting positive reinforcement all the time to only negative reinforcement. And it was such a hard transition in college. But why? They paid me. They expected me to make the three. That's what I was there for. They expected me to do the no-look pass for the assist to the dunk. That was what I was there for. So when I didn't see it or I missed the three or that's what I'm getting yelled at. Why? Because that coach knows I was able. He sat there and he brought me in one day because he could tell that it just got me over the line. And he said, hey, man, I know this is a lot different for you, but let me just make this clear. The reason I'm on you is because I see your potential. I can see where you're going and I can see that you can take this and it's going to get you there. Just know the fact that I'm still on your case means I care about you and I know that you can do it. You need to get worried the moment I stop getting on your case because that means I gave up on you. Most of y'all don't have people that will actually get on your case because they actually care about you. They'll just say, hey, Johnny, Sarah, Craig, just do what makes you happy. And y'all are sitting there listening to this podcast because you ain't happy, you're not fulfilled. At some point, you guys are going to wake up and be like, I'm sick and tired of living this crap life. Or you guys are going to sit there, keep making 40, 50, 60, 70K, make all your excuses. And the only difference is Keelyn's already in the industry making more money than you guys want to make and where she's going to be in 2 years. And you guys still ain't going to be even making 100K. And what I'll just sit here and tell you is I'll have 3 people be like, I will. I'll do it. Great. I hope it happens for you. But guess what? LeBron James didn't get great by freaking throwing a ball off a brick wall. Keelyn, I really appreciate you. I just want everybody to know, don't be a freaking weirdo. Don't reach out to her. Because let me just make this clear. We make it clear for all of our team. We just got her hired at 6 figures at a big company. Know what her goal is? Go freaking crush it for that company. That's what we tell her and protect. All you guys will be like, oh, I want to reach out. Guess what? Podcast. Just did it for you. And we'll have her do a testimony of it. Go watch that. But you guys are going to be like, oh, no, I want to talk to her specifically, right? I, as a CEO and as my company and my protection to our program members, no. Why? It's not because I don't want you guys not to talk to them. That's why we do a free podcast. You guys can go listen to it. That's why we take the time to do this for y'all. It's because y'all want to just go and kick tires, waste people's times, not actually do it. And then guess what that takes away every time Keelyn does that with you? Takes her away from her job. Takes her away from getting better. Takes her away from crushing it for the next 6 to 12 months to set up her whole life in med device sales. That's why I get so passionate about it, because I care about our people. and y'all can say whatever you want. And I've been really country today. I keep saying y'all. I don't know. Maybe I wore a cowboy hat. I don't know. But the reason I'm just saying that is I want you guys to understand that's why I get so protective of people in our program. But Keelyn, I just want to sit here and tell you to your face and say it one more time. I'm so dang proud of who you are, the hard work you put in, the resilience you showed, the grit that you showed, the person that you became through this journey to be the woman you are sitting today in front of me, to be in med device sales, be in an awesome industry with an amazing company, knowing that you are just starting your potential at such a young age to go make the life that you always dreamed of. And I just want you to know I'm so dang proud of you.
Thank you. And thank you, you and Roxy. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here.
Well, it means the world. And again, thank you for letting us be a part of your journey. Thank you just for trusting us enough to continue to be here and be able to push you to become the person we know you can become. And again, like I said, this ain't where it's like it's over. We're going to still be in contact. We get to still help you out, and we get to still watch you just go flourish. So just want you to know, congratulations on your success so far. And we know it's going to keep on growing.
Thank you.
And if you guys are interested in breaking into medical device sales, if you can reach out to us, Jacob McLaughlin or New Medical Device Sales on LinkedIn. If you could press that like and subscribe button, it helps us grow this channel. A 5-star review does help us grow this podcast. And you guys, just again, truly, I hope you can hear my heart when I talk the way I talk and I get so passionate. It's because I just want to help you guys. If you don't want it, that's no problem. And you can go watch all the free podcasts, the TikToks, the Instagrams, all the free socials we put, because we don't need it from a dollar from you. But if you really want to change your life and you want to stop living in poverty mindset, you want to stop being stuck, you want to stop wondering what to do, and you actually want to change your life, break into med device sales to then grow and change your family's life and your life, that's what we're here for, and this is what we're happy to do. So I'm happy to get on a call with y'all. I'm happy for you guys to click on the link below, New to Medical Device Sales. Go check out our program, check out what we do. Again, going back to, you guys don't need anything from us. We don't need anything from you. You can do the ebook. You can do the stuff for free, open. But again, just from experience, I can tell you guys what to do. But going back to, I told Keelyn what to do. But sometimes we have to coach. We have to be able to do, and what a coach and a mentor does, see the stuff where we told her to do and we need to make some changes, and then go make those changes so she can break in at 6 figures. And so if you're serious, if you don't want to go for 6, 12, 18 months to only come in at 40, 50, 60K, and you actually want to come in at a real livable wage and actually go and live the life that you want, feel free to reach out to us. But until next time, keep working hard, going after your dreams, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.